Well, first of all, I'm excited about our signees today. We signed three very good players who are all really good kids. So I'll kind of review each one. First is Devin Butts out of Georgia. And he's reminiscent of a shooter like a Tyson Carter. He's that good of a shooter. He's 180 pounds, 6'5", very athletic. It comes from, a good basketball family in that his dad was a very good player at Texas Tech and all, Southwest performer. Played under a very good coach in Gerald Myers. But Devin is a bright kid, pre-engineering student. So, they were very, very impressed by the academics here at Mississippi State, and especially our engineering department. And I'm very grateful to, all the love and care that they were shown over there in engineering because they did a great job, and that's a real strength of this university. Next is Elias King. Elias is, 6'8", incredibly skilled, a wonderful shooter. I mean, the guy has big time. All these kids have three-point range, right now from day one, and this kid can pass the ball and handle the ball like a point. He can play three positions. He's a very, very skilled player and an outstanding shooter. Has great length. He's going to be a good addition to our program. I'm very excited about Elias and his future. And, what I love about all three of these kids, they're all gym rats. What was interesting, when they came on their visit, they all got here on a Thursday night, and our players were playing that night, and they all came up to the gym and played with them, and everybody who played with them, was excited. That was before we started our official practice. They were here for the Florida home game weekend. But, actually two of the three were here. Elias was here later for the A&M game, I believe. But it was really good, that those guys love to play. I mean, this kid, Elias, is just an absolute gym rat. He lives in the gym. Another good student, very, very bright, so very excited about him. And then Iverson Molinar is really a big-time steal for us. This kid can play point, has a great body. He's 6'3", 190, 195 pounds, wonderful kid, was phenomenal. When you look at this AAU team that he played for, Team Why Not, it's actually Russell Westbrook's program. And I saw him in Augusta, Georgia at the Peach Jam, and he shot 63% from the field. He was that team's best player, and they have some guys that are big-time high recruits. But if you ask their coach, who coached that team, who's a good friend of mine, he would tell you this kid's the best player on that team. This kid's going to be another nice addition. So I'm really pleased with the three recruits that we bring in this year and excited about all three of them and think they're going to all be real good players at Mississippi State. In terms of, what's up next for the Bulldogs, we've got Long Beach State here Friday night. And, I have a history that goes way back with Dan Monson, their head coach. All the way back to when I was a graduate assistant at Gonzaga. His dad was the coach at Idaho, and I actually played at Weber State when his dad was the coach at Idaho. So I played against his father when his dad was the coach and had a really good team. So I have a long history with him and his dad, and Danny is a very, very good coach, and was really one that got that whole Gonzaga thing started when they got into the Elite Eight, 20-plus years ago. And then he bolted for Minnesota and was there in the Big Ten, I think, 7 years, and has been now at Long Beach State for quite a long run and has done some real good things. So they're very well coached. And then Bob Braswell joined his staff this year, who's another longtime friend who was the head coach at Cal State Northridge when I was a head coach at Northern Arizona. And we were assistants together in the Big West when I was at UCSB. He was at Long Beach. So I have a long history with their staff and have great respect for them. And their kids will play very hard. And, I watched the UCLA game they played in, which was the game before they played Arizona State. And they were right there. I mean, they had the lead with 5-6 minutes to go, and Pauley Pavilion had a chance to win. They really have a big-time shooter in Booker who had 31 points in that game and is a real force. So, we're going to have to play well on Friday night, and I'm hoping we'll have a nice crowd because of the game on Saturday against Arkansas, our last home football game of the year.
Go ahead, Brett.
On Molinar, you mentioned the Russell Westbrook connection with him. Is that how y'all found him?
No, it just happened that he was on there. Corey McCray, who was my assistant, had been recruiting him before he had ever started to play for Team Why Not. But he played on Russell's team this summer, and they had a very good team. They ended up losing in the finals of the Peach Jam, which is like the ultimate AAU event of the summer, which really speaks highly. In the semifinals, he had 24. And so I watched him play in that and saw him again out in the Los Angeles area. And he's going to be a really good player. He hails from Panama. And so his mom and dad came up here on the official visit in Panama. Just the sweetest, nicest people. And, we're really blessed. This kid's a good kid. And they're all three really good kids from good families.
You mentioned that he was a big steal for y'all. He's not the recruiting service darling. Why do you think y'all were – why do you think he's going to translate well to y'all?
Well, you know what, I go back to, you want to ask me about players of mine. Like Russell Westbrook wasn't they make a lot of mistakes, in the recruiting services. There was a reason why Arizona had him slated to visit, and there was a lot of people that wanted to be involved with him that kind of didn't show him that early love like we did, and that's a credit to Corey and really doing a good job getting in there early and impressing upon, Iverson how much we want him. And then obviously, I followed suit, especially after seeing him in person this summer. I was blown away by how good he is. I could care less. Darren Collison was at a camp his senior year, going into his senior year, and in Georgia, where he would make the top 75 in the Adidas camp. He is making $10 million a year. So I don't get caught up in the recruiting services. I trust our own judgment more than anything, and that's what's really important.
Go ahead.
When you started looking at the 2019 class, what were some kind of needs that you wanted, some areas that you wanted to address with this class?
Yeah, perimeter. We wanted to get our perimeter shored up because we're already right now we have 6 scholarship guys, and we've got to have more than that in the backcourt. And you would normally want to have it broken down to 7-6. We're going to have some depth again and some good competition. We also wanted to get really good shooters. All 3 of these guys share the ability to shoot, pass. They're all great kids. And what's really kind of interesting, this is 2 classes in a row now where all 6 of those kids come from 2-parent families, which I like because I think, those kids are blessed to have, both parents in the household, and it's healthy.
Go ahead.
Kind of shifting gears a little bit, from what you've seen through the team's first 2 games, what have you liked? Has there been anything that you haven't seen that you would like to improve upon on Friday night?
I really liked our defense in both games. I thought we've played very good defensively. I thought we've really imposed our will in both the first 2 games. They had 21 turnovers. Even though they shot a decent percentage, Hartford did. You don't take into account 21 turnovers. I think, and actually Coach Williams pointed this out in the postgame show, I think combined in the previous 2 games, they had less than 21 turnovers combined in the 2 games. So our guys are doing a good job getting deflections, playing hard, our rotations. We're playing extremely hard. And that was a difficult game. There were 2 different games. One game, you're playing against a team that's super patient on offense in Hartford versus Austin Peay, which is more wide open and getting up and down. And you've got to be able to adjust to different styles because every team you play is going to be a little bit different. And so I was very pleased with that. We've got to do a better job not allowing second shots. And that's going to be a big thing moving forward because we are playing small. And we start with your 6'1" and 6-foot guards. Now, Nick plays way bigger than he is because of his heart and his toughness and his strength and his athleticism. But, bottom line is we got to get in there and get rebounds and keep them off the glass. So that's a huge thing. And then I think we got to do I thought offensively we were better in the first game than the second game. And part of that was the style of the game. When you're playing against a team that's playing so slow offensively, they took 20 shots in the first half. Now, they did have 10 turnovers, but they only got off 20 shots. So they're using the clock and being very patient. And so when you get the ball, you got to be smart. If you shoot up a quick shot, now you're back on defense again for another long period of time. So if you did a time of possession chart in that first half, it would definitely have favored them. And, that's an important stat.
We'll keep it in the front with Tyler.
You mentioned Nick sort of imposing his will, Q, sorry. Has that been a focal point of the offense, or it looks like he's just sort of taking what he's getting? And how many shots do you want him to put up for you?
Oh, it just varies from game to game. I mean, there'll be some games where they're going to face guard him and try to keep him completely out of the game like Alabama did 2 years ago. So it just varies game to game. Where Q is so good is finishing at the rim and attacking in transition. And so when we're forcing turnovers and we're getting out into the open court, or we're getting stops, that's where he's so good and his teammates are finding him. And I thought the first game against Austin Peay that we played, he was remarkable in his ability to score, different ways, finishing at the basket. And you got to remember, that's a guy who that week that opened up on a Friday, his first practice was, I believe, Tuesday. So he practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, played Friday, and had been out 5 days. What I thought may have been a really serious deal, a sprained MCL. I mean, for him to be doing what he's doing is remarkable in itself, in my opinion, considering, what had just happened to him. And the other thing I like about Q, what I really like, I thought defensively against Hartford, he was very good. He had a couple steals. He had 6 steals. 6 steals. So I get excited about that, when you're getting steals and doing it the right way. I mean, we watched the film edits of it yesterday. He had one where, usually he goes with the wrong hand when he goes for the steal. When the balls come from this side of the floor, I should be hitting with my right hand. Oftentimes he's going left. He actually did it the right way, got the steal. I was so excited, They tried to beat him on a back cut, and he turned, snapped, got the ball, deflected it. I mean, he did a heck of a job.
Go ahead to Logan and then Brett.
I don't know if we've talked about him yet, but just how has Prince kind of transitioned to the team, and what's he giving you on the practice team right now?
It's really hard for him right now because we're putting in all our sets, working on the other team and what we're preparing for each. He doesn't get a lot of run when it gets to 5-on-5. We're playing those 10 guys are going to play, 11 guys are going to play the minutes in the games this year. But he has great energy. He's really done a heck of a job with his body. He's working to become a better shooter. His strength is his motor, how hard he plays, how physical he is. I think he's a good rebounder, especially offensively. He finishes well around the rim, and he can really run the floor. He's a good athlete. So he's going to help us. And what I love about him, he's a gym rat. He wants to get in there and do extra. He's always, asking Tevin Baskin, one of our graduate assistants, to come rebound for me, come work with me. I mean, he can't get enough, which is what you want in a player, a guy who's really motivated and has a good motor.
Other than just knocking down shots, what do you feel like you need from Tyson Carter to feel like you got good minutes out of him?
Well, he's playing good defense. I'm really impressed with him defensively and how he's been playing this year defensively. And he's an outstanding passer. When he makes plays for others, I really like it because he's very good at seeing the floor. The one other thing that we've got to get better at when I think about him is we got to get better at post feeding. And, I want him to be one of our best post feeders. Yesterday in practice, that was a point of emphasis. We didn't feel like we got enough post feeds in our first game or second game offensively. And we got to do a better job of that. So that's a point of emphasis right now for us on the offensive end.
As y'all look at Robert, as y'all look at Long Beach State, what stands out to you?
The way they get down in transition, they have a lot of great players that can make plays, as well as drive, as also shooting ability. So we just have to stay aware on the defensive end, and also just make sure we keep them off the boards. Just do the small things that make a big impact on the game.
Abdul, this is the toughest part of that stretch, right? I think it's 5 games in 13 days off this game, and go out to Vegas? How do y'all prepare for that? What's your mode of operations, I guess, for a stretch?
We try to take it like one day at a time. You know, we like right now we have Long Beach State. There's a team we're focused on. We try not to, because it's a long season, so you can't just pile up everything together. You have to just take it a day at a time. So which apparently we're doing with Long Beach State.
Go ahead.
Robert, just how have you felt after a couple games under your belt now and things? Just how's college basketball for you? Is the game a little faster, or does it feel like just normal ball to you?
It's definitely moving faster, but my teammates have really helped me out during the summer. You know, being competitive. You know, basically, you know, trying to show me what being a rookie is like. So just helping me to become the best player that I can be and get acquainted with the game for this season.
Go ahead, Tyler.
Through 2 games, what do you feel like you've done well in your first 2 college games, and what are you still trying to improve on?
I would like to rebound more. I feel like, you know, I haven't done my best rebounding yet, but also just, you know, being a threat on both ends of the floor, not just on offense, but as well as defense, you know, because defense wins games and offense sells tickets. So, you know, just being a threat on both ends of the floor and helping the team win in whatever way that Coach Highland wants me to.